Oh, hey, you guys. If you're hearing my voice, that means you're on the Proclivity podcast. I'm your host, Joel Cochran. I'm here with my co-host, Emily Rodella.
Hello.
Emily is a queen today. It's not that she's not a queen. She's a queen every day. She's
Thanks, Joel.
extra queen today. And you know what? We all should have those days. We
I'm
should
having
be
a
a
great
little,
day.
oh, man. Yeah, Emily's just been crushing it today, and we're about to crush this podcast. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's freaking go. Before we get started, we have our sponsors. 8 Sleep. You'll sleep better, deeper, more like
Period. The end.
period. The end. Go ahead. You do Fatco.
Fatco, best skincare product. If you have dry skin, cracked skin, eczema, it's the cleanest, best. Love it. Use code
Period.
Proclivity.
The end.
Period. The end.
Period. The end. You're gonna cut mine short, but you want to keep on rolling with yours.
Sorry.
See with the
Sorry.
queen energy, folks. She's like, the end for you. Now
Yep.
give me all the time. Yes, my queen. Yes, yes. Here we are. This is fantastic. Hopefully anybody listening right now is already having a great time. I'll tell you what isn't a great time, guys. Lies and liars. We've talked about this before. The diet industry is over a $70 billion a year industry. How are they going to make all that money, Coach Emily? How do they do that?
Telling us what we think we need.
Yep. They study the psychology of what we think that we need. And then we go, cool, we'll just make a pill for that. We'll do a 8-week program for that. We know it's not going to create sustaining results. We know it. We know it. Yet we know we're going to make some money off you. So that's what they go and do. That's what they go and do. And what we're going to talk about today is some mainstream lies that you may have heard, that you may think are actual truth. And we're here to be able to talk about them, point you in the right direction, and get you to healthier body, happier life. Speaking of healthier body and happier life, do we help people with that?
We sure do.
How do we do that, Coach Emily Queen?
We have the Proclivity method.
Boom.
12-week group program focused around getting your mind right, getting your body right. That's it.
Getting your boom. Period. Getting your queendom right. And guys, if you want to get your kingdom right, you just let me know too. I'll help out with that. But right now we're all in the feminine. You know, Emily's just going to take over this entire podcast. That's how it's going to work today. So we already talked about it a little bit, Coach, in terms of these mainstream lies, how it happens. They want to make some money, right? Who's truly benefiting from these pitches and these ploys?
So I think first of Big Pharma.
We love Big Pharma, don't we? Psych.
They tend to rule lots of things, so including have influence over a government and vice versa. So there's lots of money there and power. So what they say goes, right? And I do believe some of it comes from good intent. Some people look at some studies and go, hey, this is what's good for the best of us. How can we make money off of it? And let's go. And let's drive it hard into the ground to everyone with everything. So I believe some of it comes from good intent, yet there is a time and place for looking at the science, and science is great, right? Yet it's not always black and white. So, and we have improved science since the times of when we've looked at, for example, cholesterol, salt issues, meat, so many things. We have so much more improved studies, improved data on all of that since we've made these decisions that we have in our mainstream media and culture and big pharma and government guidelines. And so we're oftentimes going off of these old rules of thumb that are outdated.
And
Simple as that.
it's as simple as that, right? Oh no, let's bring one up. Let's just bring one up. We're not jumping into it quite yet. Yet one that is, if you're in your 50s or 60s, possibly even your 40s, let's talk about carbs, right? And fat. Fat's so bad. Eat all the carbs. We know the food pyramid, right? If you go back in time, it was like eat all the grains, all the donuts, all the cereals. It literally says cereal on there,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the bottom of it. Who do you think, let's just throw it out there. Who do you think sponsors those type of studies?
Whether it's either big pharma, some government corporation, or I call it big sugar, all those giant companies like Nestle who own all of those companies that provide those.
Oh, that's weird. So they'll go, wow, we want to increase our cereal intake. Why don't we support creating a pyramid for everyone to look at, listen, and believe in? And we'll skew things. We'll do just enough, right, to be able to make it. And then we attach to it because we heard it one time. And what do we know? Repetition is the mother of all skill. So if we repeat what we say, our mind will say that's important, and then we'll just latch onto it. Mm-hmm. Yet, Emily, is there a coincidence that at this point, Americans are at a 42% obesity rate? Don't we have more science, more health, more everything at our fingertips? Yet we are at a higher obesity and overweight rate than we've ever been in the history.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a coincidence there?
There's several reasons for that. Yet one of them is being told, eat more grains eat more grains, eat less fat. And that's led to eating more of the refined carbohydrates, like you said, the cereals, the breads, pastas, the whole grain, the brown rice, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
The average American gets 300 grams of carbs a day. And if you're not aware of what that looks like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I might get 300 grams of carbohydrates in a week.
That's true life.
Dang, that's true life right there. Yet we've been told carbohydrates, easier to produce, more shelf stable, right? We'll throw organic on there. We'll say it's no MSG, or whatever it is, right? Gluten free, yet still a lot of carbs, still causing the issues that it's causing. So if we know that they're creating these, let's just say not full truth, we know they're benefiting from it. Obviously, the diet industry is $70 billion. $70 billion, you guys. Are you for real? Right? When we could sit you down, put a plate in front of you and say, what's healthy, what's not? Oh, this is healthy, this is not. Right? Yet they use millions of dollars of marketing to be able to get you to grab that packaging that looks so good. Says keto on it, Coach Emily. Must be good.
Heart healthy,
Heart
natural.
healthy, right? Cheerios was the first one to get you on that one, right? Heart healthy. Okay, interesting. Heart healthy.
Very.
I'll tell you what heart healthy is. Exercise daily, drink enough water, have protein. Anyways.
Get your sleep.
Get your freaking sleep. Who's losing out of these lies, these mainstream lies?
Yeah, it makes me sad. The innocent people who believe them. and I would take it a step further. So they're even going as far as they have literal scientists to make those foods so hyper palatable to where it literally makes you crave more. So our brains are wired to eat more fat, more sugar, especially in that combination, because that's our survival mechanism from our Paleolithic days of survival, going days without food. And so we're wired to eat more and more of that. And there's scientists that literally tap into that part of the psychology, like you said, in the brain and figure out a new recipe for that. So it's sad. So the people who don't have the education, which is most Americans, on what is good for them, They read into the front labels. I tell people all the time, don't look at the front label. It means nothing. Means nothing. They can put whatever they want there. Look at the back. What's the actual ingredients? That's what I look at first.
How addicting is sugar?
Extremely. It's like a drug. It acts like a drug in your stomach and brain.
I dare you guys to find some packaged food that doesn't have sugar in it. They're going to add sugar into anything and everything they possibly can. Why? Because they know how addictive it can be. Again, we're in a capitalistic society. Hey, that's great. That's great. Everybody deserves to make some money. Yet when we don't express the truth and you don't know, then that starts becoming detrimental. And as we see, more and more people are continuing to become obese, unhealthy, and so on and so forth. So you want to dive into some of these lies?
Let's do it.
First one, gotta love it. Low-calorie diets is the best way to lose weight.
Yeah, that's a big argument in the nutrition space. And yes, we do need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. That is the science. Yet, that's not all there is to it. So when we're eating, so it's really popular in the flexible dieting world, meaning you're tracking your macros. You can be very flexible in what you eat in terms of quality. That might work for some people, yet it's not the best quality of food often. So we're still having those refined carbs, the sugars, the oils, and that's going to have an effect on our health and hormones. When it has an effect on our hormones are what regulate our hunger, right? What regulates our blood sugar, all of these things that actually make us gain more weight. So when you take a deeper dive into what that actually does to your body, it makes losing weight and keeping it off sustainably much harder in the long run. So yes, eating less overall, but more importantly, we like to teach our clients and group members about the quality of their food. When you have more nutrient dense foods, yes, it might be a little bit higher calories per serving portion, volume size, right? Yet you're going to be satiating your body much more. You're going to be craving less food, and it's going to be much easier to eat at a slight calorie deficit, much more natural feeling and more sustainable, right? Because you're not going to be craving those things all the time and feeling restricted all the time, because you're actually going to feel satiated and energized and have your hormones balanced. So literally on that physiological level, you're going to feel much better.
Yet so many people have been told you got to be in a caloric deficit, which there is truth to that, right? Did you ever hear about the guy, the professor at Kansas State who lived off of Twinkies, Oreos, and Doritos?
I did. I don't know the full story.
So that's the only thing he ate, and he lost 27 pounds in 10 weeks.
Yeah, it's a great example.
Caloric deficit, yet he would eat half a Twinkie, right? He would have some Doritos. Sure, he could lose the weight, yet how is he going to feel?
Good. Yeah, and maybe even look good on the outside.
Yeah, yes. Yet, even, and from what I can't necessarily, you guys would have to look at this, but I remember that his biomarkers actually were improved as well, right? Off Twinkies, Oreos. Yet, could he do this forever? No. Which shows intermittent fasting or time constricted feeding windows, how that can benefit us. Yet this isn't something that somebody can last forever. And if we think that we just need to drop our calories and we create this pattern in our brain, we're going to fall back to the identity in which we started. And this is why people cycle back and forth.
Yeah, and most people I know who do, because I come from a background of counting calories in my coaching experience, and those people, in order to keep that weight off, they have to continue counting calories. I don't know anyone who wants to do that for the rest of their life, nor does it make any sense. So, yep, we're all about the long-term sustainability game here.
Cool. So to be clear, we're looking at it. We see that low calorie diets for weight loss aren't necessarily the answer. What is the answer?
Yep. Getting more whole foods, more nutrient dense foods to fill your, what I call, nutrient cup. So then you're more satiated. You're getting away from the hyper palatable foods most of the time. So you're not craving those more, because once you eat them, you crave them more. And you feel better more naturally. You don't feel restricted because you're getting those nutrients and you're not having those cravings. You're not getting those hormone signals that you're hungry. You're not getting your blood sugar spiked from all the refined carbs.
Boom. There's a big difference between having one Twinkie and 6 cups of broccoli to match the same amount of caloric intake. You're going to get filled up real quick on 2 cups of broccoli than you will with one Twinkie. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Meat is the worst possible thing that you can have. It will cause cancer. It will cause heart attacks. Your arteries will get clogged. You really need to stop eating so much meat.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It makes me sad when I hear people say that. Or that's what they believe, right? That's what they've been told. Yeah, this is a tricky one. For some people, conventionally raised meat can cause some issues with cholesterol. Yet, the bigger root cause factor is actually our blood sugar and how many refined carbs we're eating and the types of oils we're eating outside of that. So it's those oils that we moved to in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when we were told, oh, butter's bad, meat is bad. Let's move towards that hydrogenated oil, the margarine, canola oil. Those are actually causing far bigger problems than meat. Meat is so nutritious, so many micronutrients. It's what our ancestors ate. What I would love to get back to is meat raised right. So grass-fed meat, cows that are eating what they're meant to be eating, grazing how they're supposed to be grazing, living outside in the sun. And that is extremely nutritious. It's actually one of the only foods that the majority of people are not going to have a sensitivity or allergic reaction to out of all the foods. You're going to be able to digest it most well. That's why the carnivore diet is popular for people who are at the last option of like, hey, I can't figure out what's going on with me. Let me do this, because it's so nourishing for our body and healing. And it usually, the issues come from the poor quality oils outside of it. If we're getting too much conventionally raised meat, that cows or chickens that are eating these foods that have those processed oils in them, they're not supposed to be. So when you're eating an animal that is stressed, inflamed, has antibiotics, has hormones added to them, you're getting all of that too. So if we can look at quality beef, quality meat in general, it is such a nourishing food. And we actually want to look at how much sugar am I getting? How much of the poor quality oils am I getting? Those are the bigger factors here.
Because again, guys, there could have been a study out there that showed that meat was bad because they were feeding them meat, but they were feeding them conventional meat. Oh, and they forgot to tell you in the study too that they actually gave them donuts at the end of every night and every meal. Oh, and there was canola oil that they mixed in their drinks, but their inflammation went so far up in the 30 days that they had red meat.
Mm-hmm. A lot of those studies too, the people who in that time period in the 60s, 70s, 80s, a lot of the people who ate meat were also people who didn't exercise or smoked. Those tended to be the other things that went along with those people, and those weren't mentioned. So the studies are not always great, for sure. And it's not always, correlation equals causation. So being able to do the research on your own, Sacred Cow is a new documentary and book, if anyone is interested in doing a deeper dive into that.
And so here comes the question. If in the mainstream lie, it is that meat is so bad, we should really only be eating vegetables, what is the answer? What should we be doing? How much meat should we be having? What kind of meat should we be having?
Mm-hmm. So definitely supporting regenerative agriculture, whether it be through your local farmer or ordering through an online company like ButcherBox, or Force of Nature Meats, companies like that who are doing it right and actually actually create a benefit to the environment by practicing this way of raising their animals. I honestly, if you do well with meat, as far as you like it, you digest it well. And I will say, side note, if you don't digest meat well, it's not the meat's fault, it's your digestion. And that needs healing. So call me.
For real.
um, Yet, meat every day is fine. If you have cholesterol levels, it's likely not because of the meat. It's likely not because of egg yolks. It's because of other reasons that we can talk about as well. So you can have it daily. Again, the best thing you can do is get the quality beef when you can for the majority of the time.
And guys, if you don't know, if you're not around a farm, if you are around a farm, let me put it that way. If you are around a farm who sells beef, go to that farmer. Get to know the cow. See the environment. Talk to the farmer. What do you feed them? How much space do they have? See it for yourself. You will be so much more connected to your food when you go out instead of just going, I got no time. Let me just go straight to the store. I have no idea where this is coming from. I have no idea how this cow was treated. Cool, whatever. Do that. Go to your local farmers markets, talk to the farmers, so on and so forth. Getting connected with your food is massive. Agreed?
Agreed.
Boom. Period.
I want to add on one more note.
Okay. Do you guys see the queendom? Do you see the queendom? I tried to do the period. She perioded me in the beginning. I was like, okay, you got it. It's your turn. She was like, nope. Oh, you want a period? No, not today.
Yeah. I'm
Please,
passionate about this subject.
please, queen.
Yeah.
I'm
So
listening.
if a side note on that, because I do know lots of people who believe that Beyond Burgers, Impossible Meats, those things are healthier. They're not. I'm you know me, Joel. I'm not someone to say something that's super definitive like that. But they are made out of those oils we were just talking about, the canola oils, the soybean oils, in ingredients that are truly just not healthy and not digestible for most of us. So I would rather you not eat those. If you don't want to eat meat, fine. But I would say don't add those in.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Anything else, queen?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Just wait. I'm gonna start talking. She's like, hold on, one more thing. Okay, so we talked some nutrition stuff here. Let's talk about. I love this. I love this one. Right, running a gym for over 6 years. I love this one. Man, when you got a cold, you really got to sweat it out. You got to get to the gym. You got to sweat it out. Have you heard that one before?
I have phrased differently. Yeah.
And should people be going to the gym when they have a cold to sweat it out?
In general, no. One, be nice to the people around you. Don't spread your germs.
Yes.
But more importantly, be nice to yourself. Take some rest.
Yes, you guys. Listen, if you didn't know, when you work out, you go into a sympathetic state, fight or flight. You damage your body. Now, so hormetic stress, it's a healthy stress because you're going to recover, you're going to get healthier from it. But when you're already sick and your body is already trying to recover, your HRV, your heart rate variability is going to be down, your resting heart rate is going to be up. Why do I know this? Because I've tracked it myself. And that's because your body's working harder to fight a cold. And you're going to come to the gym where, one, you could possibly spread your virus. Two, that you think that sweating it out by putting yourself in a more sympathetic state when already your resting heart rate is already going to be higher is going to be healthy for you. Come on, folks. Get to it. Now, instead of going to the gym and people want to get some movement in, what should they do, Coach Emily?
Yeah, depending on what level you're at. One of our favorite go-tos is a simple walk. Could be a 10-minute walk, could be a 45-minute walk. Simple as that.
OMG. gee. For all my hard chargers that might be listening right now, I dare you. I dare you to go for a 45-minute walk, no dogs, no kids, nobody else, no podcast, no watch, no phone, no nothing, and see what happens to your brain. You're going to feel like you're going crazy the first 20 minutes. And here's the thing. Go slow. Go slow. Now really get yourself ramped up. Because I know that I've sent some 45-minute walks to people and like, oh yeah, man, I covered 4.5 miles. What? No, it's not about the mileage. We don't always have to be counting. Treat your body when you don't feel good. Stay at home. Rest. Nutrient-wise, what should you be having when you're sick?
Nutrient-dense foods.
Weird.
Staying away from that sugar.
Weird.
And getting your sleep.
Weird. Simple and easy are not the same thing, folks. Try to sleep for 9 hours, drink enough water, get magnesium, sodium, potassium, have whole foods, no sugar. Good luck. Moving on. Let's talk about eggs. Oh my gosh, eggs are good. Eggs are bad. Eggs are going to increase your cholesterol. Eggs are the fountain of youth. They're the vitamin of life. What's going on with eggs?
Yeah. So there's cholesterol in egg yolks. And it's very easy, very similarly when you think about fat. Man, you're like, fat, it's going to make you fat, right? That makes sense with the word.
Yeah.
It's not true. So we need cholesterol, very much so. So cholesterol in our food does not equal blood cholesterol, the cholesterol that we're looking at on our panels, on our blood work. Not only that, when we get simply the LDL and the HDL, that's not the full picture either, or the total HDL.
What?
Or cholesterol.
Tell us more.
That's not the full picture. So I'll put this simply.
Please do.
So looking at your LDL, so that's typically what we want to see as low, right? And it's not always the best picture. We want to dive deeper because if you think about your cholesterol, like if you think about cars on a freeway, what causes the buildups, the friction are the traffic, the amount of cars on the freeway, right? It's not necessarily the passengers, because you could have 4 people in a car, but it's still one car, right? If you have one person in the car, it's different. So when you're looking at LDL, that's counting the passengers, not the cars.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to do a deeper dive and get your particle count number. That's the passenger count number. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Perfect sense to me.
So it could be, if you have a high LDL, it is a flag to look into deeper. Do I need to be concerned about this? Mm-hmm. And that's where we dive deeper. There's more testing to be done. Yet it's not always a bad thing. And then simply going back to cholesterol in the egg yolk literally does not translate to blood cholesterol. So the egg yolk, please eat the egg yolk. It is so nutrient dense. Mm-hmm. As Joel said a minute ago, it is like a mini multivitamin. Yeah. The more gold the yolk, the more nutrient dense it is. And especially if you're pregnant, it has choline in it. And you need lots of choline, which is equal to, I believe, about 4 eggs a day. So go for it.
And how do we get a deep, dark orange yolk?
You get pasture-raised eggs.
What does that mean?
Eggs that are literally living on a pasture. They live outside. They eat the food they're meant to eat. They're happy. They're not stressed living in a cage, not seeing sunlight, cramped.
And that, folks, equates out to about 100 to 115 square feet per chicken. Pasture raised. Because they can say, oh, Emily, it's cage-free. What could that mean?
It could mean they're cage-free for a few minutes out of the day.
And inside, in a barn, where they're literally stepping on top of each other.
Yeah.
Sounds like an incredible place that I would love to visit. Psych.
It's still a step up from normal, but still not ideal. Yes. Right.
So we're looking for pasture raised because there's also free range, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
still even less than pasture.
Right.
So we're really looking for the pastured. You can see the difference. Get
You totally
normal
can.
eggs. Get Vital Farms. Is it Vital Farms that does
Mm-hmm.
the? Yeah, they have
Yep.
an organic pasture raised. Get those. Crack them into a bowl. You'll see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see the difference. So
I look at it as the same idea as conventional meat and grass-fed meat. You're getting much bigger bang for your buck and health, more nutrients.
boom. So how many eggs should people have a day?
You
It
can have as many as
depends.
you want. You can have as many as you want. I eat on average 4 a day. I love eggs.
I just had 4.
Eas- It's easy. They're the cheaper form of protein,
Yeah.
nutrient dense.
Boom. And which leads us to the next myth. I had 4 eggs and then I put all kinds of salt on it.
Mm, mm,
Wait a
yum.
second. You need to salt. It really needs to be low, particularly if you have high blood pressure, right? You really got to watch our salt intake. Mainstream lie or truth?
Definite mainstream lie. This is probably likely a shocker to so many people because I know this because every client, 9 out of 10, are like, well, I try and do low salt or, which I get. I get it. That's what the media tells us. And it's true. If you have high blood pressure and you're eating more salt and you're eating a refined standard American diet, it is going to make your blood pressure worse. There's no doubt about that. Yet, that's not the root cause. That is not the villain. That's not what's
Mm,
causing your high blood pressure to begin with.
mm,
And what's causing it, again, are those refined foods, refined carbohydrates, too many carbohydrates, not enough physical activity, and not enough whole foods. Usually, and oftentimes, it's not enough potassium and magnesium. Those help regulate each other as well. We did an entire podcast on salt. So if you want to get even more nitty gritty, highly recommend you guys go check that one out.
and we have a blog too.
Mm-hmm.
Salt, friend or foe? Check it out.
True.
Now let's okay. Wait, I can have salt. What's going to happen when I start having salt? What are some of the benefits that we might start seeing if we start having salt? Okay, I'm not going to believe the lies that my doctor told me load my salt, aka guys, or not aka, just to let you know, doctors spend about 2 weeks on nutrition. Out of their 8 years of preparing to be a doctor, they spend 2 weeks. Newsflash. Uh, they're saying, my doctor told me low salt. We start giving you salt, what are they going to start feeling?
Yeah. So one, make sure you have a real salt. So not the Morton's iodized refined salt because that's going to have minerals taken out of it. So what we want is real salt, whether that be pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, or my favorite real Redmond salt.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start experiencing more energy, less headaches,
Huh.
less cramps, hmm, less
Might,
cravings,
you might sleep better at night, huh?
sleep for sure.
Wow. Okay. We're blowing the doors off here. We're talking about having meat. We're talking about salting our eggs. This is getting out of control. What we really need to get to is the real truth. We need to be eating 6 times a day. Truth or mainstream lie?
Another myth, another myth.
What? Tell us more.
For the majority of people, if you are, say, a CrossFit athlete, you're training for an Ironman, you're working out 2+ hours a day, that might work for you, definitely. That might work for you. Yet, for the standard American who is working 6 to 9 hours a day, sitting down for part of that, not getting movement in, getting less than 10,000 steps a day, all of these things where we have less movement, we do not need to be eating 6 times a day. Not only does it upset your digestion, so if you're having bloating, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, anything digestive wise, that's definitely a contributor to why it's getting worse or not getting better. It's also going to increase your blood sugar more often, which tends to, for most people, increase cravings. I know for me, the more I eat, the more I want to eat more in terms of timing of day. Um, And yeah, again, it can be done right for some people, but the majority of us do not need to be eating that, because what we've been told is eat more often, it'll keep your metabolism going. That's not true for the majority of people. It just isn't. Um, it also will keep us away from gaining metabolic flexibility, which is a big goal of ours for the majority of us. Because if you continue to eat every couple of hours, your body's going to rely on that rhythm and rely on needing carbs for a fuel source. And we should be able to go 4, 5, 6, 7 hours without food and feel okay, not feel hangry or shaky,
Mm-hmm.
lightheaded. We should be able to feel just fine. Yeah, maybe a little hungry. That's fine. Yet, when we eat so often all the time, it trains our body to not be metabolically flexible.
And when we're not metabolically flexible, we're metabolically inflexible, which is what Coach Emily was talking about. All of a sudden, we have more cravings, we want to eat more. Then we tend to go, what is, since we don't have enough time in our day, we don't have time to eat, to make our own food. What are we going to go to if we don't have refrigerated whole foods?
The snacky food, the refined package, whatever's in the office, the cookies, the donuts.
And if we're not watching that, wow, talking about low calorie diets for weight loss, we're going to hit a ton of calories really fast that can have canola oil in it, can have a ton of sugar in it. Oh, we're back to the whole beginning. And we want to point at eggs and meat and be like, those are the bad guys. No, I'll tell you which your bad guy is. It's your schedule. Learn to say no. Put some time in your day to sit down and eat your freaking food. So if it's not 6 times a day, what should we be doing?
Yeah, for the majority of people, try out 2 to 3 times a day. 3 times if you're not used to it. Say you're used to 5, 6 times a day, go down to 4, then go down to 3. See how you feel. And the way you do that is start adding more to what you eat at mealtime, especially protein. Number one, are you getting enough protein?
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting veggies in to fill you up with that fiber and micronutrients? And then do you have a little bit of fat source in there to keep you going for longer? Having some fat in there is going to help you have energy for longer. Carbs are the short burst of energy. Fats are the long source of energy.
So it makes sense that when I eat carbs, specifically refined carbs, that I get this like, energetic. And then I get this,
That blood sugar going up and then down.
Yet when I have fat and I'm fat adaptive, aka metabolically flexible, and I have some of that fat, and my body goes, oh, cool, we're tapping into fat. All right, we'll just ride that train. And we'll just be able to stay burning that fat without the body saying, oh, we need carbs now. Correct?
Exactly. Correct.
Oh, man, I love it when I get a correct from the queen. Let's talk about one last mainstream lie before we wrap this up. Gosh, I love this one. If you need to lose weight, you need to have a low calorie diet, and you need to do cardio to lose weight. Mainstream lie or the truth?
Yeah, mostly mainstream lie. Yes, it is a tool. It can be helpful. Same with counting your calories. Same idea. Yet, for long-term sustainability, optimal health, if you're looking for longevity, people, we want to be looking first at strength, weight training, resistance training, those kinds of things. Yes, cardio likely burns, you tend to burn more calories in the moment, but weight training, when you start gaining that muscle from that resistance or weight or strength training, then that will also help you burn more calories in the long run when you have more muscle mass. When you have more muscle mass, your body metabolizes sugar better, so you're going to have less blood sugar swings. And the list of benefits from having more muscle and strength goes on and on and on.
And let's throw this one out here because I love this. Yeah, but when I work out, like I get so sore. And then I can barely move. I barely sit down, right? Oh, cool. How much protein did you get the other day? Oh, I don't eat eggs or meat. Oh, so you got 40 grams of protein.
Total in the day.
in the entire day, and we wonder why we're sore. Why is it that people are more sore when they don't get enough protein?
Yeah, because you're not feeding the muscles that you just literally tore apart. It needs protein to recover, to build. Period.
Period. There she is. She's, man, I wonder if we get the queen next week too. We'll find out. We'll find out, folks. Yes, being able to find the right exercise regimen. If you guys want an exercise regimen, we have one. It's the 30-day dumbbell program. Try it out. You don't need a ton of weight to be able to sustain good muscle mass. You need good protein, and you need to have some type of weight training. Now, if you like to do Olympic lifting or you like to do powerlifting, all that's all great, all good. Yet it's not fully necessary to be able to get the sustainable muscle mass that you need to be able to burn throughout the day. Right?
Right.
Great. So let's wrap a bow on this. We covered a bunch of different mainstream lies. What are the top 3 that we hear the most with our clients that really are some of the most detrimental to gut health, to weight loss, to energy levels, to overall health and wellness?
Yeah, so definitely we hear this often. Oh, I was told I need to eat 6 meals a day, or more frequent small meals. Once we have people try at least 3 meals, and sometimes for some people even 2 meals a day, they feel so much better. Again, especially if you have gut issues, if you are having trouble losing weight, you want to try something new, it's a great experiment. Next, that you need to do cardio to lose weight. Again, I'm a huge fan of cardio. I
Me too.
love to sweat. I love to run. I love high intensity. I love it all. Yet strength, again, priority. Then added in cardio after that. And then third, we get this lot like, oh, I try and avoid beef or red meat. You don't need to do that. Just go for quality. Go for quality. Invest in your health. Spend the extra money. Meet your local farmer. There's plenty of them in Reno, I know. Or there's online options if you don't have any.
There it is, you guys. The media is out there to make money. We're here to be able to tell you the truth and to help you shift and change your identity when it comes to these different lies that you have been told. Remember, repetition is the mother of all skill. The more we repeat it, the more we believe it. When you start changing the words that you're saying, it will take your identity from over here to over there. A more truer identity in which that is how we create sustainable changes. It's not about climbing uphill, forcing yourself to eat something or forcing yourself not to eat something. It's being able to start changing the identity and speak appropriate to it. And if this rings a bell for you, we got the program. It is the Proclivity method. Emily and I coach you together through this, which is an incredible value. And we help you to be able to create that healthier body and happier life. We are here for those busy professionals, the moms and dads who just are struggling to be able to have that time, and they want that change. They want that energy. They want that weight loss. That's the people we help. We would love to help you. If you want to jump on a call with Emily and I, head to www.proclivity.co. You can get some more information there. We have great resources in there as well, including recipe packs, our 6 tips of metabolic flexibility, so on and so forth. And if you have questions, reach out to us. Joel at proclivity.co, Emily at proclivity.co, or reach out to us on our Instagram page. Anything else, Queen?
No, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. You guys will be coming back to you next week, episode 69. Stay tuned. If you liked the podcast, please like, subscribe, share, review. It helps us out a ton. Anything else, Emily?
No, thank you
Sign
guys for
off.
listening. If you have any questions on any other myths, shoot us a DM or a message. We appreciate it. We love answering questions.
The queen is out.
See ya.